I know this sounds crazy, but I smell my hives. I see how, I sniff and smell. Most of the time they smell great, but when they've been locked in a hive for a long time and they haven't had a cleansing flight, they don't smell so good. And if you haven't seen my videos, the reason why these colonies are inside is because I used the Formic Pro formic acid last September, and it did not kill the varroa mites. Again, I say it did not kill the varroa mites. And it was a month before I realized it didn't kill the varroa mites, because I used it before and it worked fine the first time, but the second time it did not. So I had to switch to acetic acid, and that was in November. So I managed to save my colonies, but by then they'd gotten really small because I lost a lot of bees during the month of October and November. So a lot of my smaller colonies are inside, and then I breed bees all summer long, so I'd already started putting some small colonies into windows, ones I started late in the summer. And then I do have colonies outside yet. And I have this window open here to keep this room cool because these bees are generating too much heat. Whereas I don't want them to get too warm during winter. And I do want to mention, if you give bees pollen patty, that does not necessarily mean the queen's going to start laying. The queen will start laying when she's ready to start laying. So I got some small colonies. I wish the queen would get started laying soon so that they could get some new population in their hives. Because I've got several colonies that are just like this. This cluster goes all the way down to the shim that I have, where I have the pollen patty and cane sugar. And they are not large enough to be outside when it's near zero. They could handle 32 and above, but anything below, it would take a toll on the colony and they'd probably die. So, again, I smell my colonies to see how they smell. And I think it's kind of like the smell of fresh baked bread, or I make wine. It's kind of like a yeasty smell. I really like the smell of it. So, it's almost the end of January. If I can get through February, I'll be doing all right. Okay, thank you.